this orange sexy.
What is going on, everybody? We are here. This is Depraved. Put Ralph Pound. This is the Pound / Marvel Media podcast. I'm Depraved. That's Ralph Pounds.
Hello.
And we are here with special guest, HellCat.
Who is just watching this craziness. All right.
I'm just watching the cat. I'm sorry. Probably gonna be.
If you guys hear meowing or playing in the background, cat's over here in the playpen.
It is there. It's on my visual. I'm just like, yep. Oh, you talk? Okay.
Doing her thing. Doing her thing.
Playing with her tail.
So we're here to review and talk about the new Marvel Shang-Chi, which, by the way, I've called Shang-Chi most of my life of knowing who the hell it even is, just to find out I was completely wrong.
Right, because he was pronouncing it like
Shang.
Shang-Chi. He said Shang. Like, what the...
She's like, how do you think you're going to remain hidden?
Right, what type of...
You say Sean to Sean.
Yeah.
She's like, that's like being Gina and changing your name to Gina.
Gina. I was like, that was a burn.
Not
I like
really, but okay.
I like... That was good. I'll take
I was like, that was not what I thought you were going to go with. But
right.
Okay.
Which I think all of us had very pleasant experiences watching the movie. Now, I will say the one complaint that I had, which actually has nothing to do with the movie itself, was the theater we went to go see it in.
Yeah.
And that's sad.
They did this. It's the whole Dolby Digital surround sound feel, and like they give you almost a minute and a half demo of what the sound can do.
Right. It's supposed to be like it's supposed to be your heart supposed to be racing,
and you're sitting there and feeling the vibrations.
Right. Vibration.
You're like,
That's what it is.
This feels great. And then all of a sudden you start watching the movie and
it's like a standard movie.
I think they didn't even really use it until towards the end.
That's so stupid.
Honestly, I don't think they really even used it. It was just the bass that was trembling us, not the vibration. Yeah.
Right.
And that's kind of sad. I've been like, hey, yo, movie people, can't you like do something with that shit?
Ralph was like, didn't you ask somebody? I was like,
right, ask somebody like, hey, yo, bitches, like, come on.
Like who?
I don't know.
That was
some Adobe shit. That's what I pay my money for.
That was the only real complaint I had with the movie experience, I will say.
Yeah.
Otherwise, like, we were it wasn't really even a packed theater, so you didn't have to worry about a bunch of people being loud. Honestly, I felt more bad for the people down the aisleway a little bit for the 2 times we had to get up to go use the bathroom.
Well, I mean, once each, but that is twice, yeah.
It's funny because in my theater I had kids and they were just...
We had kids too, but they didn't...
Yeah, these kids were talking like very... I'm like, bruh.
It was actually very quiet.
I'm going back to Metropolis.
I will say that's where we went.
No, I should have went back to Metropolis. I should have went to Metropolis because they were having at Brownsburg. They were having a moment.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god.
Well, and I will say in terms of theater experiences, I still just don't think I'm going to ever.
Yeah, well,
at least not for a while, get that in-game experience again where the theater's crowded and everybody's cheering.
Not till Spider-Man.
Crying.
I mean, like, it's okay if it's in reaction to the movie versus everybody having their private discussions.
Right.
And yeah.
All right, so the first thing we're going to discuss is going to be the story.
Yeah.
I 100% think that the story was absolutely fantastic. Very well done. Now, this is going to come from somebody, at least for me and her, and I'm pretty sure Ralph, none of us really knew a whole lot about Shang-Chi going into this. So we're not going to be the type of people that are going to nitpick the things that they changed to fit their story or anything like that. Just in general, the story was very well put together.
Right.
Had a great backstory, the great villain.
Well, and the backstory is what I loved about it. It wasn't your typical new hero movie, right? And that...
Right.
You know, we had like 2 Spider-Man movies start off with the whole Uncle Ben situation.
Right.
Or, you know, say if it was Fantastic Four and it was them going into space doing whatever.
It also wasn't the trope of like he finds out later on in life that he has all of these
powers. Right,
abilities.
he knew.
Like
It was his best friend that found out.
Right.
Know?
Right. They started running. They said, "Hey, yo, you are your father, but you also your mom." Boom.
But she's like, who even are you?
Right.
So one of the things that I did love that they did as far as backstory goes is they explained the backstory throughout the movie.
Right.
It was like they'd be in the middle of a conversation and you'd get a little backstory here.
Oh yeah.
You'd be in the conversation.
It was broken
later.
up. It wasn't just a full-on prequel.
Oh man, no like exposition where it's like, okay, we're doing this talking crap, but no, they made it
they gave you enough each time that you weren't lost.
Right.
And that's what I like about that.
So whoever did the writing for the script,
solid. Have them do more shit, or have that person do more shit.
It was fantastic. It really was.
And again, I think one of the reasons why the story of this movie drew me in as much as it did is I am a big fan of other cultures' mythologies and things like that. So to have the Chinese mythology mixed so deeply with everything that was going on, everything from the little fuzzy butterfly winged creature.
That Kibo from Yu-Gi-Oh! That's what that thing looked
adorable.
Like. In Ninetales and the draw them. Oh my god!
Wombat iridescent chicken thingy.
Right.
The lion horse or whatever they were called.
Right.
Named it perfectly.
Very strange horse.
It had a really Americanized name too when they were talking about what they were called when we were watching.
Oh.
He said it has no face. He said she's very sensitive.
I just don't remember what they're actually called. But I just mixing all the mythical creatures, like we saw the nine-tailed foxes. We saw we saw the lions, the guardian dragons.
Or dragon, yeah.
Well, they're like the lion.
Because those are the statues.
Dragon. Yeah, very beautifully done too in terms of the animation, turning them from what we know as just drawings in stone into.
Right, you made it real. Damn.
Yeah.
Like, it was like just a whole nother universe, like a whole nother world in this bitch. Like, okay.
Kind of was.
Literally.
And now this was something that he me and him actually do different opinion on, and she's like right in the middle, which is fitting. I 100% seen Shang-Chi's dad as a villain.
Yeah.
He did not.
I did not.
And she's like, I did it first.
Right, it's like us.
Okay, no, I felt like it was a progression in terms of his character from the past, way before the setting,
right,
to the despondent form of villain where he's just over obsessed about getting his wife back and is a horrible parent on top of it.
Right.
But he's not out dominating the world, because it was explained before that he really had no other place to dominate other than her hometown.
Right.
But also because he's so obsessed with getting her back from the dead.
Right. Like he was.
So, but he doesn't go back to his true villainy, which was conquering and taking over everything.
His villain was just because he felt like a piece of him was missing. And that's the whole that he felt.
That is that, empathy you're supposed to feel for him. I also felt like his last moment was sort of, I mean, he saved his son, knowing that he was putting himself in the way of the tentacles.
Right.
And also I felt like it was one of those, I'm not going to live without my wife anyway, so.
And I think that is going to be the one thing that ultimately drags me down on him as a villain. I don't want the sob story. And
I fell into it. I said, damn, this is good.
I actually have more empathy for psychopaths than I do people that have true.
I think here's the thing though, is that it is so obviously the wrong path. Right. And the woman is dead. He legit saw her dead body. It's not like his wife disappeared.
Right.
Or anything else that you can be like, okay, there might be a little edge here where he could believe that she's alive somewhere. No, it's like he's delusioned, but he knows he is in some capacity.
Even anytime he was even confronted with it, pretty much every time by Shang-Chi.
Right. Hello.
Every time he'd be confronted with it, he'd always have that pause moment.
Yeah.
Right.
But then he'd be like, no.
So, like, know that he gets it, and therefore I think that takes a lot of the empathy away from him.
I hear her talking to me.
Right.
So he's not a complete sob story because, I mean, look, he's destroying the barrier, and he is seeing these soul suckers.
Yeah, he didn't care.
Out.
He just kept going. He's like, I just want to get to my wife. I don't care.
Honestly,
I don't care.
And honestly, looking back on everything as well, right? So,
but if you see him as a villain,
we know how. So when him and Shang-Chi's mom found each other again, I'm not gonna remember most of the characters' names, guys. They're all Chinese names, and I'm just not that great at memorizing names.
I'm not great at memorizing names. Period.
I'm not gonna butcher it. I know him, but I'm not gonna butcher that. Nope. Mm-mm.
So, whenever they first met each other and they got married,
right,
the village didn't want him coming in there. And on one hand, I 100% fully understand their decision making.
Yeah, he had
they're like
dark intentions.
They're like, you're an evil person.
Right.
But I feel like at some point in their lives, he had to have changed. I mean, he put the rings away. He wasn't chasing domination anymore. He was a family man.
Yeah, but how quick did she get pregnant? Because Shang-Chi was 7 when she died.
Oh, they didn't go over how long they were together at all.
So I'm guessing it was relatively quick, at least in the storyline we were given. Mm-hmm. It wasn't like his immortal life.
Right.
So he really hadn't shown that long of a turnaround.
Which, because he'd been doing it for thousands of years.
And they were living an idyllic sort of life until the Iron Gang members came.
Which, by the way, that's a Marvel claim that he was running by Screen Crush. Like, that was a Marvel thing there, too.
But yeah, so, I mean, in terms of his thousands of years of being super bad guy, like, but I don't fault them.
I don't either, but I'm just saying at some point, even in an 8-year period, if you... Because I guess, again, I'm just I was raised to really focus on family. Right. I mean, you see my mom.
Right.
Regardless of how crazy she is. She's very family oriented too.
Right.
It's just one of those things. So it's one of those things where it's like I kind of don't see why at some point they don't look at it and be like, you know what?
What I don't understand is why there was no meet and greets between the kids and the family.
Right.
Because it was possible.
Well, yeah, he said, I could have found you guys anytime.
It was possible like that once a year or whatever. Like, yeah, why didn't mom...
And that's what I said, he was a bad father. I said, yeah, he was a bad father. He fucked up.
I don't think at first...
Only after
I don't think at first he was.
Right.
He was a good father.
Right, yeah, before she was alive. Yeah, he was a good father, all that. They did Dances Revolution and shit.
And I don't think it's 100% his fault.
Right.
In that situation either, because Shang-Chi even admits later on in the movie, he's like, after my mom died, I wanted to do everything I could to be able to protect the people that I love.
Right.
So that was also his decision. I want to be as badass as I can be to protect the people I love. Dad, show me the way.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, Dad may have gone what we feel
crazy
is overboard, but if you look at, especially in Asian culture, with families, that was a thing in Asian culture.
Right.
You put your kids through some shit.
Right. Although it is admitted that his dad chose the path that he was on before Shang-Chi made his decision. So honestly, his dad was already going off the deep end in terms of bringing back the militant climate, so on and so forth. So I mean, yeah, it's hindsight kind of thing. I still think even if Shang-Chi hadn't chosen to follow that path, that his dad would have
forced it on him.
Yeah, maybe not to the level that he was at, but still would. I mean, like, everybody else around there is getting militant training. Why would his son, who is supposed to be his successor, be exempt from that?
Right.
You know, he wouldn't.
No. Right.
Also, my favorite plot twist of the entire movie is so minuscule, but I think is very important to the story. And it was, so his dad sends him on this mission.
Right.
And they spend the entire movie making you think that he walked away from the mission.
Right.
And then finally he talks to the girl that I'm pretty sure becomes his love interest.
And he said he did
just maybe not right now. Yeah. And then he's like, no, I've been lying to you.
I killed him.
He's like, I did kill him. I was just like, okay.
Okay, shit. That's and so my family
guys believed that?
I thought maybe
I don't think I put any thought into it.
I was like...
I mean, granted, yeah, every time it was mentioned, it was kind of quickly led into something else, but
he was like,
the way that he answered every single time, he never straight out said, I didn't do it. He would say, you know, kind of a shrug.
He sent me here, so I decided to go off to
leave
California.
I knew I could never come back.
Right.
But when she said, did you do it? And he was just like, you know, he never actually said.
Maybe.
So, yes, he was lying to her. And yes, he was running from it. But that wasn't a plot twist for me, because I guessed that he had gone through with it and then realized that A, it was the person who killed his mom and the person that he was out to get anyway.
Right.
And B, he didn't like it. So he didn't want to go into being a hitman on
Right,
people.
he didn't want to follow father's footsteps.
Think about it. That was his mom's killer. So if he was going to take a hit on anyone, it would be that person. And therefore, why would he continue being a hitman?
Right. So it's one of those things, it's a plot twist I 100% loved.
Right.
But I also seen it coming.
Right.
Especially, it's one of the few things they didn't change a whole lot from the comics.
Right.
So in the comics, Fu Manchu sends him out. It wasn't to kill the person that killed his mom. It was to complete a normal hit.
Right, normal mission. His first mission.
And he goes, and he ends up killing this dude. But the dude's butler, after he kills the dude, talks to him and is like, this dude's not done anything wrong.
Right, didn't do anything wrong.
And talks to him, and that's when Shang-Chi's like, my dad's an evil son of a bitch.
Right.
Like, I'm going to have to fight my dad.
At some point. But I'm going to run away first.
Right, and change my name to Sean.
Well, no, so in the comics, they even, because we were watching Screen Crush earlier, they said most of the comics, at least for the first couple of years, was always dad had sent a gang of assassins.
Right.
And he had to fight off the gang of assassins, and that was pretty much the comic.
Right.
How many people can you beat up?
Now,
a lot.
A lot.
Another thing that I absolutely love too is we are still not 100% sure if this is the Mandarin. And the reason I say that, and because I actually missed out on the conversation, she told me about it towards the end of the movie, because that was when I chose to go use the bathroom, was right when they first got locked up, because I was like, oh, this is a good time.
And then they had the dinner party where the dad is just like ticked off. He's like, names. It's Americanized, and they had to make me so villainous that they brought in an actor. And,
I said, hey,
they don't know the importance of names, and so he named me after a frickin' chicken dish.
And a terrorist.
Well, and then you
thanks to whoever subbed.
Terrorist named after an orange, and yeah, he missed that whole talk.
Wow.
Yeah, but it's one of those things where it's like he's like, yeah, he was supposed to be me, but he never acknowledged the fact that the Mandarin was a name he went by.
Right.
That was kind of what the Americans decided to give him.
Right.
And then he got I love Trevor. He was good too, because he broke it down. He said this was supposed to be like for producer, right, entertainment. Then come to find out the producer actually was a terrorist. And he's like, damn, okay, we really went 360 Iron Man 3, didn't we? We actually, because I remember saying in one of the podcasts that he was coming back to reprise his role, and I was like, I don't know how they were going to do this, actually.
Like, take prolonged LSD ad ever.
Right.
He was fantastic, don't get me wrong, but solid. He was definitely,
Now,
I did my
tasting numbers.
Right. It actually killed one of my predictions, but I was at least half right.
Right.
Okay. One of my predictions was Trevor had gotten saved from jail in the Hail to the King.
Right. Which is on Disney Plus, by the way.
To be killed. And I thought he was actually going to die.
Yeah, they said,
pretty early on. But come to find out, he ends up living throughout the entire movie.
Well, plus his fake dead scene.
Oh, the faking dead,
right?
Where you almost feel bad because the little creature that he's
rolled over and died too
comes up to him and he's whimpering.
Oh, yeah, he's whimpering. Yeah, he whimpering.
And he's sad, and then all of a sudden he lifts his head up. He's like, "I'm not dead. Play along."
And then he just rolls over. That was so great.
So I guess that's his play dead moment. Just roll over.
He has a sidekick. It's sweet.
Let's have another series Hail the King with that thing.
Now, in mythology, too, again, I don't remember what that creature's called, but watching the Screen Crash video, in mythology, those creatures are little bundles of mass confusion.
Mass confusion.
Makes sense.
Which fits 100% with who Trevor's character really is. I mean, you look at the conversation about what got him into acting.
Oh God!
When he's like, I thought they were gorillas riding horses. But they were pretending to ride horses.
And Aquafina's like,
they were acting.
She's like trying to agree with it. Like, I'm like, yo.
And it's like, not once did he ever make a thought that connected, like they're actually humans dressed up. He still thought they were monkeys, but that they were pretending to. And I'm just like, this dude's a fucking confused
That's
mess.
what I said. He is like a walking, talking ad for don't do too many drugs.
Right.
Kids.
And Aquafina's like, literally, oh, okay.
I mean, I really liked how Katie played it off. How she was just like...
Oh, you gotta play it off, because he's crazy. Full blown.
Who would have known?
Right.
Crazy.
Right, Planet of the Apes, and they're actually real monkeys. Shit. Fuck me, I didn't know that either.
If I have one moment in the movie that does drive me crazy, though, and it's just because I feel like it's that almost same feeling that those old school movies gave me, that, like, for instance, who's the dude that does, I can't remember the name, martial arts, he's a fat guy now, though.
You're talking about Steven Seagal.
Steven Seagal. How many Steven
I like Steven. I'm sorry.
No.
I like Steven Seagal.
I like his movies.
I love Steven Seagal's movies early on.
Yeah, early on.
He has quite a few that are still some of my favorite movies all the time.
Solid.
Still solid.
But the one thing that always even drove me nuts in those moments, drove me nuts in some of the moments in those movies, are like, you're running away from something and you find a truck in the middle of nowhere, and oh look, the keys happen to be in the truck.
Right. Oh, there they are.
Oh, but yeah.
Like you just,
they're not even hidden.
Caught him.
Yeah.
But and this movie had one of those moments. It was a little different.
Right.
But old girl could not hit a bullseye to save her fucking soul.
Oh yeah.
And then all of a sudden, the one moment that you need her to do something, she's like, "Here's the arrow through the neck." Bam!
Although, if you think about it, that's not quite true for her character, because even with her first couple of arrows,
she was in the area.
really quite good. Yeah.
Right, they got to
She was
get
better
a
than what
training
she thought
montage
she was.
somewhere. At least have her like train
Well,
with it and
No, because
go
some
through with
people
it.
do have a natural talent, and so, but like, yeah, watching
think-
her on the thing, she was like right around.
Like the
Think-
bullseye because she's trying to hit it.
And
Right.
Think
be
like
fair-
if you've ever remember seeing the original It,
Yeah.
all the kids, and this was how it was in the books too, when they were shooting the silver pellets with the slingshot.
With the slingshot, yep.
Beverly was the one that just naturally seemed to pick it up, and she was nailing each one. She'd never shot a slingshot before,
Right.
but she just nailed every single one of them.
So what I guess what I'm saying is, yeah, she hit the dragon soul sucker thingy's throat right away, but A, she obviously had a natural talent, and B, that thing was gargantuan.
Right.
Like, that is not like hitting, you know,
A small target,
pin.
like you're
Yeah.
you're in a giant dragon.
Granted, it was moving, and you know she was terrified, and so on and so forth. But like, I agree with you to a certain extent. But on the other one, like they did make it more believable in terms of a natural talent leading to it.
It wasn't enough to make me degrade the movie by any
No.
means. It was just every movie.
fact, that was a
seems like it
badass
has
moment.
one
She went,
moment that's like,
Well, and with Steven Seagal, it's almost always like there's always the fight scene where he ends up popping the person that's, you know, militant, normally some sort of Marine that is holding the knife the correct way, and Steven Seagal has no weapons.
Right.
And still
Kills the dude.
with his own knife. Yeah.
With the knife that he had.
Correct. Yeah, and
Like,
and
what
like
the
just
fuck?
doesn't move his back the entire time, back or neck. It looks like he's embraced the
well,
whole time.
Steven Seagal's favorite move in every movie is the one where he bats someone's hands down and then hits him
he
in the
pops
chest
him.
with his palm.
Yeah, it's a skibbity bat. He watched a lot of cats in his life growing up, and it's a skibbity bat right there. I again, I'm not making fun of. Well, I am, but not in the not in the capacity that I don't enjoy Steven Seagal.
Right.
They are just the kind of bad action I enjoy.
So going back, and this is something that nobody I think really noticed. At least I haven't seen anybody do a review. Even Screen Crush, I feel kind of missed this. So you go through the story, and it's definitely Shang-Chi becoming who he is.
Right.
And learning to accepting that half of him is his dad, half of him is mom.
Right.
Because he fights very much like his dad throughout most of the movie.
Right. We're like, tend
Until-
to fight, beat people up, call it a night.
Until he's training with his aunt.
Right.
And his aunt reaches out, opens up his hand.
Right. You say, bro,
And
you
it's
got
like,
to
remember,
chill.
it's
You
kind of-
remember, yeah, because he had learned that up until he was 7 and his mom died, but like he had been trained
how to fight like
so
father.
hard for another 7 years like his dad. Yeah.
Right.
So he finally accepts and thinks about it and starts using even his mom's movements and stuff mixed in with his dad's. He kind of becomes that whole person that he's meant to be.
Right. Because it's all about the balance, right?
And then at the end of the movie, after the good guys have won, bad guys have been killed. Bad dragon, whatever it is.
Right.
Soul-sucking jerk.
The protector dragon leaves.
Right, yeah. Yeah.
And now one thing they definitely got right is he's not needed there anymore. Because he was there to balance out the evil.
Right.
Balance out
Protect
the
the gate.
Exactly.
So with no evil, there's no need for the good dragon, so he's free to go away.
Yeah.
One of the things I noticed, now, the guy in Screen Crush said that he was flying in a pattern of
like
the yin yang sign.
Yeah,
yin and yang.
He was in the infinity loop.
But it was more the infinity loop.
Yeah.
And nobody's called out the infinity loop part of it, because he was
swimming in an infinity loop.
Huh.
Which is actually kind of the symbol of yin and yang as well,
Right.
but the symbol of yin and yang is more negative, positive, female, male
heaven earth
kind of mentality, whereas the infinity loop is obviously like never-ending sort of capacity for whatever you're talking about.
Right. So it does lead me to believe at some point we're going to see this dragon again.
Yeah, I think that dragon's going to somehow make a...
I feel like it was almost his way of saying, like, hey, I'm leaving.
Yeah, I'm free.
But
now
if
that
you
the darkness
ever
is
need
gone,
me, I will be there.
I don't feel like I didn't take it as a farewell. I took it as, like, first of all, they released the souls to the ancestors.
Right.
If you noticed, all of the souls all stuck right around where the soul-sucking jerk died.
Right.
Granted, the dragon had kind of guided them there with, the patterns in the lake. But it was almost like they themselves were now going to be the protectors of whatever evil might still have happened or, infect the place. And it was more like he was free to not be trapped at the bottom of the lake. Like, he could go where he was needed. Because,
like the guy said, the whole point was him just to prevent that dark dragon to come on out and kill people. Right. So, but he could go where he was needed now, and that didn't mean he wasn't going to return. It makes you wonder, where the hell could you... Well, I guess he would probably appear back in Shang-Chi if they do Shang-Chi too. They were talking as though they are a different dimension. Right. So, I mean, like, think of all the other dimensions that the dragon maybe needed. You don't.
Maybe he's going to go. Maybe he's going to go and fight Daniel Rand. And Daniel Rand's going to get the Iron Fist.
Oh, man. I was going to say he's going to fight Shimmer. Like, okay, so the dragon's fighting Eyeball now.
Something, I mean, like, he had shit to do. He's
going to fight Fing Mon.
He was supposed to meet someone for a dance over 70 years ago. Okay, people? Come on now.
And then he finally got to that bitch, didn't he? That's like
it's a good thing dragons live forever.
Right, forever.
So, moving on from the story, because we did cover quite a lot of that.
Yeah, we did.
Fight scenes.
They were fantastic.
Were some of the...
all around.
My favorite fight scenes, just in general in the MCU.
Granted, both of us are a sucker for martial arts.
Now, a lot of it is the martial arts thing. Now, I have never been one of those type of people. I'm not a kung fu movie fan. I don't just sit down and watch, 70 black and white kung fu movies in a row.
I watched just 2 black and white.
And it's not to say that I haven't seen some, but I do love, like, even watching, sometimes I'll stumble across on the internet, even current day karate tournaments or kung fu tournaments and things like that.
It's the style of fighting that is just, and there are plenty of styles within that umbrella, but they're so incredible to watch.
But it was definitely cool to see them take the Kung Fu movie and put it in a Marvel universe.
Right.
And come to think of it, there's only like 4 major fights in this movie. The first one you run across is the bus scene that everyone saw in the trailer.
Right.
Obviously extended in the movie. Right. But we have the bus scene. We have the fight between Shang-Chi's mom and dad.
Right.
When they first meet.
Right.
The scaffolding.
We have the scaffolding fight shortly after that, and then the final fight between Shang-Chi and his dad.
Right.
With a little bit of, the cage fighting, which are just clips.
Right.
And the clips of him retraining.
I was like, that one was just him getting his ass whooped.
Right.
But I mean, there's like the fights that are like training scenes, or like the
somewhere.
retraining with his aunt, stuff like that. But they're small and they're not actual.
Which I thought that was like story progression for me, like him like learning that. What it is. Right. You can't just always keep using your father. You can use your mom's shit too, man.
So my favorite overall fight scene in the movie, personally, is Shang-Chi's mom and dad fighting. Because there is this sense of just beauty in what they were doing. It wasn't just full-on fucking Dragon Ball Z style fucking fisticuffs.
She said, Kamehameha. I was like...
She was just like, I'm going to have to hurt you.
It was very fluid.
It was graceful. It was calm. It was artistic.
Yeah. And the times when they would finally be separated from each other and she'd start doing her hand movements and the wind would start kicking up and...
It's interesting to seeing that, and then like seeing that towards the end, the same type of fight. Now it went from like dance and fluid to almost like fighting, like between Shang-Chi and his father. It's like the same style, but it was more like kind of like aggression behind it.
Because it was a mixture of his mom and dad.
Right.
But it was also
like fighting for life or death.
Yeah, that was aggressive.
Right.
Versus, and granted, the fight between his mom and dad, it did get aggressive towards the end, where he realized that this was no joke.
Right.
But on the flip side, there were still those pauses where she was just kind of smirking at him.
Right, playful banter here and there. But this one was more like, it's like, you got the progression go from that to that, like, damn, same fight, but different fighting moves.
So honestly, easy to see how that happens. So, first off, very rarely does anybody ever make it to that point. You think about how many times they've talked about people who've come through the forest and died because the forest eats them.
Yep.
So, at some point early on in his life, well, not necessarily early on in his life, but at some point earlier on, before we actually got to where he's at, he gets there. So he's one of the few people that have ever actually made it to the gates.
The waterfall,
the waterfall of the place. So she's probably already like, okay, interesting.
What's so special?
Right. And then she starts fighting him, and although she is more powerful, he's probably one of the few people she's ever fought that have kept up.
And
to an
have
extent.
A different style, too.
Right.
Hers like defense. This is like a full blown about to beat the shit out of you.
It's obvious that her whole town trains.
Right.
They all train in the open style, and by open I mean like the open hand.
Which that is interesting.
Which also makes them open to the cheese, and the energy around them is part of the process, and therefore the wind that they're creating, and the forest, and how she's talking about the guardian spirit helping her. Whereas his is a closed fist, closed
fist, like
very aggressive, dominant form of fighting.
And by the way, I now want Disney to make an actual Avatar movie that's decent.
Please do. I like to see that shit. I like all the elements.
You mean live action?
Yeah, not that cool bullshit we got from Midnight Shyamalan. No.
To see all the elements in.
Because you look at the 2 times they actually really did use elements in it.
Bro.
You had the wind part when regardless if it was her or Shang-Chi's aunt.
Right.
They were good at moving the wind around and causing things. And then you had that one moment where when they walk into that area where he puts the eyes of the dragon on the dragon and then the water comes out.
Dude, bro, I said, is this Avatar? What are we watching in this bitch, bro? This became a whole different movie. What is this?
Well, and the water takes place again, not as long, but when they go through the waterfall.
Yeah, the little circle.
It breaks up into pieces like that as well.
Right. That's
and of course the dragon at the end is moving the water around the soul-sucking jerk thingy.
So
it's Cthulhu, okay? Just like Chinese culture Cthulhu.
So Ralph's favorite fight scene, because we talked about it, was the bus scene.
Yeah, it was bus scene. But see, I'll piggyback on what the other fight scenes too. But I just thought that was like story progression. As far as for me, this full on fight, it was just we had to be the bus scene because it set the tone. Like you just knew what this was getting ready to be about. Like the dude literally came up and just like eye contact, dead stare. I need that pendant, and he's like, "What's happening?"
I love that it started with a whole like Katie being like, "Does he look like someone who could fight you?"
Right.
It's like,
and he went right, but to that
right.
And that was kind of weird though, that little fighting style, because he had open palm, but he did have the fist like clenched though. That was kind of a weird little technique.
I mean, so I know it's been spoken about here that like this whole time he's fighting to really become who he is and accept it, and part of it is his mom's fighting style, but I really think most of it is he's trying to not be his dad,
right?
And that is what. Like, because the scene they keep going back to when his mom is talking to him right before she goes out and gets killed, is telling him he doesn't have anything to fear, even though he needs to accept the light and the dark within him. And I really feel that it was more, A, that's the fighting he remembers because it was 7-14.
Right. And
B, he doesn't want to be his dad.
So what made me mad about that was they never showed the whole conversation at any given point in time.
Right.
The first time they show it, they leave a bunch of that conversation out.
Leave it out.
And then they go back to it, and it's like, oh, now we get to fill in the blanks of what was not said.
And they do it several times. It's not just twice. Although I feel like part of that is almost his repressed memories. And that's why they broke it up that way.
Right.
Because, again, repressing his mom's fighting style, I don't think was intentional. I think it was something that was not promoted, obviously, when his dad was training him.
Right.
But on top of it, it feels like because that was such a traumatic, like severely traumatic thing, and he probably already felt guilt even before his dad said, "You just stood at the window and watched it."
Right. I was like, damn, that was kind of fucking harsh. Yeah, Lord, man.
Yeah, but he probably already felt extreme guilt, even though his mom sent him off with his sister and, told him his family needed him. So basically, don't involve yourself.
Right.
Like, that he would have repressed a lot of those mememories, at least to not have them all happen in order. So it made sense. And
like I said, even with the bus scene, like too, like it was cheese. I like the cheese part. I liked it. I like the part of, hey, I'm saving people. Everybody get the back of the bus right now. Move.
It's all mixed with Katie being the rally Trace.
And then
was great.
And then you get insert me. Hey, yo, it's my. Hey, say what's up, guys. It's Ralph Pounce. I did some karate. Hey, what's good? Hey, Miley, what's happening?
I'm a good commentator.
Right, I'm a good commentator. Right. Hey, yo, I did some karate. I was a 10th degree black whitish belt. But yeah, this guy's fighting on the subway. Hey, Nick, shout out. Hell of the parade. Go, gang, gang. Dab salute. Now let's watch some more fight.
So, my favorite full-on fight scene.
Yeah, what you got?
Was the scaffolding fight.
Oh, yeah, that's my second one. Second one is full-on. Because they're really fighting there.
So you go from Like, the bus one was cool.
Right.
But the reason I like the scaffolding is the multi-layers
Dude,
of the
yeah.
scaffolding. And it's a lot of... even Shang-Chi had his Jackie Chan moments where he's going in and out.
Yeah,
of the
I was like,
fucking
bro.
He's in and out, yeah.
bouncing around, and I'm just like, bruh.
I thought Aquafina was going to die in that park. I was like, bro, what's happening?
And another thing I love about, especially more modern kung fu style movies, is using your surroundings.
Right.
So, like, even the part where he's fighting and he runs across the dude to make one gap and the dude falls
And
through.
he fall. He did the.
And then he jumps down.
Yeah.
And on the way down, kicks the board up.
Yep, hits the
dude in the face with it.
Right.
So just using all those little things, I was like, bro, this is such a good fight scene.
And now he was just bobbing and weaving through this shit. Like, whoa, I'm coming. Like, she was about to fall.
And then
like,
also fighting my own anxiety because they're up in the fucking air.
Right, Jesus Christ. Like,
that
there was no
even
other
caused
option.
me a few, like, uh-oh moments, and I'm not scared of heights. I was like, oh, yeah, that's not going to work out the way you... Oh, okay, you made that work.
Sean!
right.
Sean!
I also
He's
love
like,
that Marvel's not afraid to kill people.
Yeah, they're not.
Because you know none of those ninjas made it.
No.
There was no resurrection
he threw one off the balcony. Oh, they're dying, bro. Off the balcony.
I don't know. I really like seeing his sister fight.
Bro, that sister fight was interesting.
I'm reticent to say any one of the ones that have been mentioned are my favorite fight scenes.
Right.
Just because I kind of like the inclusion of all the multiple styles.
Yeah.
Plus knowing that this child was taught until she's a couple years younger, maybe 5-ish,
right,
by her parents, and then completely excluded and learned all of this on her own.
Right, she had to learn how to do all of it on her own.
You know, and she is the badass that she is, even with some weapons that Shang-Chi never picks up.
Right.
So
he was trying to, please don't fight me. He's fighting, bro.
I absolutely loved she was fighting with the kunai at the end of the rope.
Oh,
it's always been one of my favorite. Like, if you guys, I mean, she finally seen it not long ago. Ninja Assassin.
Right.
Right.
Being a prime example of using that as a weapon.
Well, and then Scorpion.
Yeah,
Scorpion.
I love
she's so graceful with it and
she was
it
and so good at using
the
both
ball
ends.
thing.
Yeah.
Bam!
She's using the mace on the end.
Yeah, the mace, the ball. Yeah, the mace thing on it. Yep.
You know, just watching her even do the practice for the weight on that one with her.
Because she gave it to her. She said, "Here,
she's
just
like,
with that.
quit repressing yourself. Like
Right.
you're not back in your father's camp.
Right.
Like all of us fight here." But yeah, taking down the bamboo structures and stuff.
Man.
Like, so I know that's not like a legit fight, but
that was interesting.
I almost want to say the end fight was my favorite fight because you get to see
her
in action. You get to see.
I thought she was gonna die, bro.
You get to see.
I think a lot of people did.
Oh, God.
I know.
There were moments where even I was like, okay, she's going to bite it.
She's like, you got to let me go. I'm like, please don't do this. Don't do this.
I actually thought her death was going to be what pushed Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi, the dude Kamehameha wave. I was like, here we go. Because I was like, please don't, like, bro.
Because I know if I was the dragon, I'd have done been pissed off that, like, you wouldn't let go to save my ass. And
right, because he's getting the soul sucked out of him.
I don't know.
Because the dragon was getting soul sucked out.
If you think about it, his family kind of was his soul, though.
And I'm like, okay, you already lost your father to this thing. Now you're going to lose your...
Yeah, I don't think he could have managed to lose her, and...
He seemed to have lost her for about 15 years and didn't give a fuck.
You hell, bro!
Yes and no, but he also knew his dad wasn't going to kill her.
Right.
And on top of it, his dad wasn't using her to fight.
Right. He
wasn't letting her fight, so he probably
she ran away.
No, he wasn't allowing her in the training at all. So, like...
Well, he was very much in a patriarchal society.
Yeah,
right, he wanted just men
I think
soldiers.
Shang-Chi, because he was really disappointed in himself and scared he'd have to go on more hits, but he figured his sister would be treated like Rapunzel.
And then he said, I'm not going to lose you again because literally you was about to lose her, man.
I did love that when his sister showed up and she's seen everybody training, their aunt looked at her and they were like, everybody here trains. It's not just the men.
Exactly.
Right. Everybody trains.
Everybody does. And she kind of had this like awestruck like,
oh my God, I never had that at the castle, goddammit.
But you also saw that she was sitting there just like her eyes were taking in everything.
Right. Oh yeah.
So I kind of like she's the unsung badass about this whole thing.
And Aquafina even said it. You're a badass, by the way. Like she kept saying over and over again, you're a badass.
You know, she gets them through the tunnels to the cars.
She kicked that tunnel.
I mean, obviously Katie was sort of the badass with the driving and everything, but you know, the sisters hanging out the side of the car, like kicking the dude off the motorcycle, that was fantastic, by the way. They had some good car fight scenes, too,
right?
In terms of like the two of them popping out all sides of the car, taking out.
Or like the truck driver, like the trash. We're gonna make a team. We're doing this.
And I think one of the things
truck driver was like, "You got to be kidding me!"
Right.
I love how far Marvel has come with women fighting in movies as well.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look all the way back to the very first time we see Black Widow fight and how cheesy and stupid it was.
Yeah.
To where we are now. I mean, don't get me wrong. Even Black Widow did get better as the movies went on.
Yeah.
Right.
But starting off, anytime they'd have a woman in a fight, you'd almost be like, oh.
Wow.
Well, even the sister said, "Oh, you're a poser. You're a poser."
That's heavily choreographed.
Yeah, that's what they think we can do. Good, great. That's fantastic.
And with the mace, gotta have the mace too. The mace.
But so because I would have agreed with you that it was the mom and the dad's fight that I enjoyed the most, and I'll watch Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
I think the beauty of that fight is what got me.
Crouching Tiger.
That was
There's another movie that I cannot remember the name of it that is in the same style as Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon that I preferred, and honestly I lost the movie years ago, and so I don't remember the name of it.
Because that jumping stuff is awesome. Man.
Well,
but it's that aerial kind of wind working open style of dance fighting almost. It's gorgeous.
She was also in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Michelle Yeoh. She's also in that.
Well, that's the thing too, though, right? So I do enjoy Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon,
right?
But I don't think it's great.
Okay.
I feel like the one thing that made the fighting in this great was it was more grounded.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of the
whole jumping,
constantly jumping
from one thing to another
and
fighting.
And I'll agree with you. And in terms of talking about like aerial fighting and stuff like that, I was just talking about like the dance motion of it, like the gracefulness, the floating. And I like that this was lacking a lot of the fantasy aspect.
Right.
Because while they can manage some of that stuff, you know a lot of it is wires and whatnot.
Like the Park Crouch Tiger, they're fighting the training room. That
like
training room scene, they're grabbing weapons.
They did have a couple of moments where like they used the wind to push someone a little further or something like that. But yeah, I just like, again, I can watch Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. It's not a terrible movie by any means.
Right.
A lot of the aerial jumping tree to tree,
kind of
spinning,
takes you out of the
floating, kind of just pulls me out of it.
Yeah.
It's not ground like Enter the Dragon, Bruce Lee.
But those would be my two favorites. And again, it's just because, and I like the ornery kind of grandpa dude that was teaching Katie archery.
Oh. Right, and I'm mad he got his soul sucked. I said, damn,
somebody important had to.
I know, but damn. Like, we gotta get him. Oh,
what was his name, like Byro or something?
No, it was like Gunpowder, like what the fuck?
I was expecting the aunt to die.
I thought the aunt was going to die.
I thought the aunt and the sister was going to bite it. I thought they were going to bite it, man. Especially at that last moment. I'm like, bro, you got to let her go, bro. That dragon is... He's about to drop.
I expected her to, like, let go.
I thought she was going to, like,
but
let
I
go.
was expecting the aunt to die. Yeah, 100%.
You was going to see her, like, off-camera kill?
Or something, but no, the sister I mostly expected to live. Katie I mostly expected to live.
I knew Katie was going.
But I definitely expected.
Yeah, you get Aunt's like the Yoda. She's like, well, you're about to go be one with the Force. You're about to disappear. Goodbye.
So moving on to another thing to talk about: special effects.
Yeah.
The special effects in this movie.
Yeah.
Were actually done really well.
Yeah.
Extremely well.
Damn.
To the point, and again, kind of going over. Just looking at the mythological creatures alone.
Right.
How realistic, like, again, the nine-tailed foxes.
Bro.
The lion dogs.
It was like Pokemon for real. It's like, what the hell
the dragon
is this?
horses.
It was incredible. Plus, bringing just, like, the dragons and the Cthulhu creatures to life.
Right.
They took time with this shit, man.
And what was it? So the immortal dragon.
Right.
The one that actually... meets Shang-Chi at the bottom of the lake.
The Guardian.
Bro, how he appeared and came out of that was crazy.
One of the things I feel like a lot of companies have a hard time doing is mixing the live action with the special effects. Once you start getting the two of them in together, it starts to make the SFX look really, really fake.
I would say, blurry and shit.
And it just doesn't look like it fits with things. This movie, I didn't feel like had that problem.
Right.
Prime example, so Shang-Chi coming out of the lake with the dragon, and at first... I was not expecting the dragon to, like, fly him around.
Right.
I thought maybe he was going to see the dragon and then swim up and go back to land.
Right, no, he was
but
on
now
that
the dragon
bitch.
picked his ass up.
Right, he said, yo.
I'm coming out.
I like how the camera pans in on it too. Like, yo, what's good? Like,
right.
oh, he's there. Hey.
But I felt like they did an exceptional job with making it look like that the CGI was not like it didn't look fake.
Right.
It didn't look like CGI.
Yeah, that's that Disney magic,
right.
bro.
There might have been a couple of moments with like the lion dogs that I was kind of like, eh.
But I mean, like, even just the fight scenes, like, with the wind and the leaves and everything, they made it very believable.
Oh, that water scene.
Yeah.
It's still my favorite little digital effect scene in the whole thing.
They made that
right.
very realistic. It didn't take you out of the moment. It wasn't like, oh, well, that's obviously fake. You know?
It made me go, I want to go.
Right, I want to go where this dragon's at. Shit, I'm going to go in this
so
water.
Cool.
I'll swim with the
I
dragon.
want to
Fuck
ride
it.
one of those dragon horse thingies. That's awesome. Yeah.
I like it. Oh,
do you have to bow to it first? Like, what do you give it?
Right. An apple.
Bribery.
And special
Here's an
effects.
apple.
So speaking of special effects, one of the things I also thought was really cool was during the last fight between Shang-Chi and his dad. Shang-Chi basically ends up stealing 5 of the rings.
Right.
Initially.
Right. And then they get into ring-on-ring fight, which was pretty cool.
Yo,
Except
that was lit.
When Shang-Chi had them,
right,
they turned yellow as opposed to the blue.
Right. It was like a tug of war with it,
It
like
was
with power.
The electric blue versus gold.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then at some point, Shang-Chi gets all of them.
Bro.
And then throws them.
Bro, he made like a whole ball energy ball.
Throws them back at his dad.
And then all of a sudden, his dad, saving him, knocks him out of the way, picks him back up.
Right.
Just end up giving him to
to
Shang-Chi
him.
when he's about to die anyways.
Right.
Just the whole way they use the rings, and that's a complaint I could get into just on a completely separate thing, which has nothing to do, like I'm not a fan of the rings not being rings like they are in the comics, but I also understand them wanting to go that route to differentiate them from the Infinity Stones.
So being bracelets
I get that.
instead of,
Right. You don't want to be like the rings like on his hand.
I will admit they looked badass.
Yeah, the rings.
And
that is, wow.
And one of the things I do love about the rings in the comics, though, is each ring has its own special power.
Right.
So each ring does its own thing.
Right.
And it would have been cool to see the Mandarin character use different powers and abilities for different things, as opposed to basically it's just the rings are there as like a force field, or he shoots them.
You see, and I think that goes towards the rings actually finding you worthy, because you see Shang-Chi use them for slightly different things.
Because he was worthy to hold the rings.
He was able to almost levitate / fly.
His dad did it too, though.
I thought he only used it like a power to like jump up.
That's actually how Shang-Chi used it too, though.
But then he was able to stay up.
Stay up, though, compared to the father. The father was able to just like jump and then catch himself as he was going.
Now, see, that's something I would want to watch, because I feel like the one time we've seen him stay up, I don't necessarily think it was him staying up. I think he was falling. He was just extremely high up. Because
we'd have to rewatch it.
That's what because there was one time they panned back and you see him still coming down.
Because couldn't the father like change? I mean, if he was worthy, couldn't he have just changed the rings from purple to
No,
it was his energy force.
Yeah. That was,
okay. I thought maybe like he also, if he was worthy for it, also like could he have changed?
No, he was just able to use them at their base level.
Okay.
Right. But no. So like the usage of the rings and the way they ended up pulling it off actually was not bad.
Right.
I went into it. And that might even be another reason I think this movie is really good, is I went into it with almost little to no expectation.
Well, we talked about this at where we said this is
because
like 40-50% now.
On my level of the 4 movies that were coming out this year, the 4 being from Marvel, Black Widow, and then Shang-Chi, and then Eternals
and Spider-Man.
And then Spider-Man. Like, Shang-Chi was literally bottom rung for me.
Yeah.
Going into it, I was
because you knew almost nothing about it.
Right.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't even know if I care about Shang-Chi as a character in general. They never use him anywhere.
Fantastic. At this point.
Right. Well, no, at this point, I definitely love it now.
Oh, yeah, I want to see more of this.
But going into it, he's just never really used.
Right. Which is sad.
And it was great going into it with, like, already having Black Widow out of the way, which was, like, my second rung down.
Right.
Finally getting it out of the way and being able to actually move forward.
Right, this is actually telling us...
It's not a prequel.
In the entirety of the MCU.
Thank you, God. This is literally in Phase 4 for real. Like, I'm liking that now.
After watching the trailers... Right. Eternals got me super hyped. Originally, Eternals was just like, I give zero fucks.
Yeah, then the second one came out. I was like, okay, here we go.
And then I actually seen the trailer, the one she finally got to see in theaters.
Yeah, in theaters.
Right. But I had seen the trailer a few weeks ago when we talked about it.
Right.
And I was like, I'm now excited for this movie.
Right.
It actually looked...
None of the trailers made me feel like that for Shang-Chi. Right. Shang-Chi was like, I'm going to go see it because it's a Marvel movie.
Right.
Well,
it's all like fighting. I'm
going to go see it, and it's just going to be like, I'm just going to kind of be there. I don't really care.
Right.
We'll see how things go.
I only saw the little clip of the bus scene or whatever that you showed me. I hadn't seen any others.
Right.
So I really had no preconceived.
Right. It was like small expectations to go into this movie.
Right. And then
of course small for me. I just had none.
Okay.
Like I was like, it's a Marvel movie and it's gonna have martial arts in it.
Right. Just fight.
And then of course Spider-Man's still at the top.
But then when we saw Spider-Man, I said, "Oh, this is really about to plummet Shang-Chi right now."
Spider-Man is your favorite character as well.
So. Well, yeah, it's both our favorite characters. I was like, well, there's that. So. Yeah.
So going into it, like. I had little to no expectations. I was like, again, it's going to be a Marvel movie. I'll be there to watch it. I'm sure there will be some cool things about it. She's hiding. I was like, but at the end of the day, like, it's just going to be another Marvel movie that leads into something I care about.
Right.
And then we go see the movie, and I come walking out, and I'm like,
that was so good.
I was like, this is the best in
my opinion. Bro, I called him as soon as I said, bro, this movie. I said bro like 10 times to this man. Like,
but
this is
broke you?
Yep, it broke me.
But I walked out and I looked at her. I was like, I think this might be the best solo heroed MCU movie. Because here's the thing. It's just not, this movie on a whole is not going to hold a candle
to Infinity War
and Endgame.
Or even the first Avengers.
And Civil War.
Right, Civil War. Right.
But that's a group of characters that you built up caring for, and
But in terms of like that first solo outing, like you look at Iron Man,
I'll put it next to Iron Man.
You look at No Way Home,
right?
Or not No Way Home, Spider-Man Homecoming. You look at Thor. You look at even the first Doctor Strange.
Yeah, I kind of put it above. Besides Iron Man, the first Iron movie, like
In terms of just that first solo outing,
right?
I loved the first Doctor Strange.
I liked it.
Yeah.
But I just think this is so much better.
I'm sorry, but I want that ornery cloak.
I
100%. I would put it personally on the same level as Doctor Strange. And Doctor Strange would have been my first pick of a solo movie. And it's because it incorporates so many different belief systems, mythology, and ornery flying coat that fights for you. Like, who doesn't want that cloak?
It has its own mind of its own.
Yeah, like, half the time it's ready to just, like,
beat the fuck out of somebody. Like,
or bop you, or it's just like, nope, that's a nope.
Right.
Not doing it.
Like the magic carpet from Aladdin. It's like, it has its own mindset. That's what's up.
But, yeah.
But it's good.
They did a fantastic job with this.
And honestly, and again, I think I hold this movie in such high regards because of the mix of mythology. The fight scenes were just so well done, and they didn't look like it. And again, one of the things I think that is so hard to pull off, especially in martial arts, is making it look natural.
Right.
There's so many martial arts movies you watch now.
There's CGI everywhere.
Part of the problem is, to be fair, martial arts masters don't look natural in the first place. Yeah. Like, you can watch them in real time and be like, how the fuck you do that?
Now... The first fight between Sub-Zero and Scorpion in the new Mortal Kombat was also that way.
Yeah. Yes, it was.
It was like
the first 5 minutes.
Holy shit.
But that's the thing is, like, so you take absolute masters who have managed to manipulate their bodies in ways that you're just like, how is this possible? But then if you add in a fantastical element to it, like, all of a sudden it looks even more over the top than any other fight scene.
Right.
So they actually, between that first fight scene in Mortal Kombat and this, they really nailed the look.
Right. And I again, it felt more natural. It didn't look over the top. Yes, there were a couple times where it definitely felt choreographed, but you're going to get that, especially in the dancing.
Right.
To add that
especially the mom and dad fight. Yeah, that was like choreographed, but you're going to get there because it's like straight, it's movement. Just that's all it was, straight movement. Right.
But yeah, so the fighting felt natural. The special effects used, again, the creatures didn't look so far out of the element that they looked
Abomination
fake.
Looked cold as shit.
Abomination looked weird.
But I liked it, though.
Compared to what he looked like in the original. Like,
I didn't like him in that shit. I didn't like him.
I loved all the spikes. And
I liked it in this one a little better.
I need the spikes.
I like that with the fish scales and shit. I was like, hey, like his comic counterpart. And actually, like when we saw Earth's Mightiest Heroes, I was like, okay. Right. Like, wow. Interesting. Okay. Hey.
He was also trying to play nice.
He did. Even Benedict, well, and they talked about that too.
To a certain extent, he's trying to play nice because
so you would throw your punches a little bit.
He's not enemies with Wu.
Right. So I wanted to save
money. That's why he a gambler.
Right.
He's
got bills to pay.
Doing it for bills, yeah, not because he owes anything.
If any worse, I'll owe you money for like a sandwich. I'm like, bro, you owe a month for a sandwich, bro? Damn. Bro.
So I wanted to save talking about the post-credit scenes for the end of this.
Right.
Because these are definitely what's going to be setting up what's to come.
Right.
In the MCU, and it's a chance to make predictions and fun ones, which I'm going to.
Man, we're about to go all out on these predictions,
Screen Crush.
Hell yeah.
Which we kind of came up with some that Screen Crush didn't even mention that I think could weave its way into how amazing
everything. Just everything. Dude.
So I want to go with the one of the two that no one seems to be talking about really at all first. And that is Shang-Chi's sister taking over the Ten Rings.
Right.
That is crazy.
You're told towards the end of the movie, before the post-credit scenes, that his sister went to dismantle.
Right.
And take down the Ten Rings.
His empire, yeah.
And then you come to find out, really, she just took it over.
Right. You gave an underground fight person a castle, and she's going to run it, man.
Now, she's also running it her way. There's women in there.
There's graffiti
on the wall. There's graffiti on the wall.
So, no, it's art. Like, so she is bringing color and art and life back to...
And in the comics, his sister, who I don't think was technically his sister in the comics.
Right.
Was, like, adopted.
But she was known as, like, Sister Something, is what... It was his sister character in the comics, but she actually does succeed the Mandarin, and it keeps it a criminal organization, which I think is what we're going to get in the long run.
Right.
And I only say that because if you remember at the end of the movie, usually at the end of all these movies, you get a Shang-Chi will return, or you'll get like a Wong will return, or something goofy, right? Mm-hmm. But this one, they were like,
the 10 rings will
return.
Well, yeah, no shit. She's running the bitch. Of course the 10 rings are going to return.
I think they're going to come back as a villain organization. And just some minor predictions. I think the first time we see Elektra will be with the 10 rings.
Oh, you think Elektra...
Before she goes on to the hand. And as a matter of fact, I wouldn't be surprised to see the 10 rings become the hand.
The hand.
In the MCU.
Oh, my God.
Yep.
Elektra would be her right ring woman.
That's exactly what it reminded me of.
That's interesting. That's a way to do it.
And if you remember, and the reason the thing that made me think of it, if you remember looking at the 10 Ring organization, the difference even in the people training from her dad to her, is the people that were under her dad weren't dressed in the full ninja garb. They had all their heads were exposed.
Right.
And they kind of just had the body armor that they were out there training with.
Right.
Whereas with her,
except they're in ninja,
they're in the full blown ninja gear.
Right.
Doing the practicing. And that's what made me go. Even then, I was kind of like, this gives me more hand vibes than 10 Ring vibes.
Daredevil could be in there too.
You saw their outfit differences that the aunt had made, right? He was dressed in the red dragon scale, like the rest of the clan.
And she was not.
She was in silver,
white and silver,
and it's like and black, and it's like, okay, so he fits in with the village, which are guardians and protectors.
Damn. So
even in the training,
right?
You notice he walks up to his aunt and he starts training with his aunt.
Right, and she's by herself.
when it's her aunt gives her weapon, says, "Hey, go practice with this."
Right,
and pretty much is like, "Go do your own thing."
Right,
but honestly, though, the weapon that she was fighting with is not great for practice sessions with.
Also true.
Somebody who you actually care about. It is sort of a divider, though. So, like, yeah, because even Katie was dressed in the red of the clan. So, and his dad is wearing all black with some silver sort of garnishes, whereas, here's Katie.
Well, I mean, if you
think it's going to be revenge. Right, really like revenge sport.
Really think about it, too,
I think
though.
It's to show that she's a badass woman.
Well, that, too.
Well, and also, if you think about it, too, Katie Shang-Chi's sister, probably wasn't as close to Mom as he was, given the amount of time he had with her as opposed to her.
That's what I said. It might be revenge to probably want to fight Shang-Chi in a way.
And obviously, her dad didn't let her
fight,
train.
Train.
I think her dad just ignored her flat out. I think she was very.
I think even
ignored.
Even in this situation, she's ignored.
Right. Yeah, and I was like, dang.
And kind of
here, play with this. Like,
so
even in the village, damn.
It actually makes sense that she will probably be a future villain.
Yeah,
right.
we're going to have to deal with. Unfortunately.
And I don't know that it's going to be necessarily...
Or maybe more anti-hero. I won't say villain.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think that she's going to set out, at least initially, to be a villain.
Right.
And she definitely thinks that she is running her father's organization a different way.
She's going to be like, don't get in my way. Like, okay.
But it's going to be the same mentality as her Fight Club.
Right.
So
let's say you have a Fight Club person, like a big giant castle. Let's run it.
So you're talking about a bit more rebellious, a bit more sort of off the books type of stuff, and inclusive because that's what she thinks she's doing. But yeah, I mean, Shang-Chi expected her to
destroy it.
Yeah, but he expected her to do it.
Right.
Whether or not she offered is one thing, but like he went off to his normal life.
Yeah,
and again, he should have
left her by herself.
Been like, okay, maybe you do the majority of it, but like I'm gonna come and help. I'm gonna come and
Okay.
I'm gonna come and visit. And
that's why I said it's gonna be. It's gonna kind of be like kind of anger. In a way.
Well, here's the thing. We don't know how that conversation went.
Yeah, I mean, we don't.
Me personally, I feel like she's the type of person to be like, "Hey, go do what you got to do. I'm gonna go take care of Dad's stuff," because she was the one that spent more of her life with it than he did.
Right.
And I agree with that. That's what I was saying. I think the conversation probably did go something like that. Right. But I also still feel like that abandonment issue that she has.
Because she would probably never trust Shang. I mean, she still probably won't trust Shang-Chi about it.
He has now found her again and everything, and while she's so independent that I wouldn't have been like, nah, I'm coming with you, I still think that he shouldn't have just left her to her own devices entirely, if that makes sense.
Right.
If only to remind her that he is still present, not because he expects anything nefarious from her. But I have a feeling that it's going to devolve in such a way.
It'd be funny. We'll be like
by the time he realizes what's happened, like, there's no stepping in because he, again, left her to her own devices and wasn't there. It's
going to backfire on her, though. Because what if somebody strong takes her out?
Honestly, I feel like it's going to be like this.
Who?
I don't know. Like you said, Elektra. What if Elektra takes her out?
I honestly feel like it's going to be like she's a anti-hero type person somewhere where she still cares about her family.
Right.
So if anything is threatening him per se, she'll probably step in to help. Maybe not, involve her entire organization, but like personally. But on the flip side, she's not going to agree with him being like this goody two shoes, save the world type of person, if that makes sense.
So you can probably see them more
She's still got shit to run. She's still got bills to pay. She
can't be like Wong got this bitch.
Yeah, she can't. But that's how she has operated before. She built her entire empire. So like
at age 16.
That's how she's operated. Yeah.
So the other post-credit scene that happened, just to kind of give a quick rundown before we go into predictions.
This was the big one.
All right. So we get Shang-Chi and Katie
with her friends
back out at dinner with her friends, and they're telling the story that the other people just feel like are.
They're like, are you making fun of me?
Why would you make fun of me? I know this is based on our previous conversation.
Like, damn, bitch! Like, this is nothing to do.
Right.
Although I wouldn't have believed them either.
I mean, dang, but that's some bitter shit to hold that for that long.
Until Wong.
Oh, when you hear that,
pops the portal open.
You hear that
comes
sound
through, right?
He's like, yo.
And you see the boyfriend look back, like, what the?
So he comes through. He pulls them. He's like, hey, we need you guys to come in here now.
Let's go.
They go in.
Steal her drink, and then come back and leave.
I like that he finished the cocktail.
Right.
All right, here you go.
So they go through the portal.
Yep.
And they're basically in a meeting. It's
Brie Larson.
Bruce Banner.
It's Carol Danvers, Bruce Banner,
yep.
And then Wong. And then Shang-Chi and old girl. That I will never remember her name.
Katie.
I just call her really Aquafina.
That is the easiest one out of the whole fucking thing.
It's funny because I know her real name, Aquafina. I just go with that.
I don't remember, like, she's not a major thing in the comics, though.
Yeah, no, she's just a random...
Shang-Chi has the movie named after
her. Right,
but
so I know Katie's not even a comic book character. She's just a random person. Well, not random, but I shouldn't say that. She's part of...
She's a great bestie.
Okay? Who will one day will get married.
But they're trying to study the rings to figure out where it came from.
Right.
Bruce, who is no longer Hulk, he's Bruce.
He got that, still got that cast, bro.
But he still got the cast.
Still got that cast, man.
So Bruce basically says, like, it's definitely old.
Right, but it's not vibranium.
Right.
But he doesn't know what it is. Carol says she has not seen tech like it anywhere.
It's not
an alien tech.
It's not Chitauri or vibranium. It's crazy, yeah.
She bounces.
Bro, how she bounced was so fast. Goddamn.
That was so funny, though. I need to take this phone call.
Right. I'm like, what?
I was excited, by the way, that she's back to having her long hair.
Yeah, that's she let her hair grow.
That's my favorite look from any woman, let alone Captain Marvel.
Any woman. This long ass hair. That's cool. I don't have it. I'm bald.
You're not a woman.
I'm not a woman.
So I don't think it matters to this conversation. I mean, if you'd like it to matter to this conversation, you need to tell us all now, and we can help you. But
can't help me. Nobody can help me. Are you crazy? Have you seen all these podcast episodes?
If you dance around singing "I Feel Like a Woman,"
or I feel
just
pretty.
let us know.
I feel pretty and witty.
That's not fair. I do sing that.
Right. That's it. Wait, don't you sing that too?
He loves West Side Story.
Right.
So there's.
I just like anger management.
Which they're making a new one. Sorry.
They're making a new one?
Yeah.
Did you not see the preview?
No, I didn't.
I mean, it's a remake.
It's a remake.
I didn't know they were making a new one.
Yeah.
I was thinking of anger management. He said, I feel pretty and witty and gay.
Like, no, that's an actual, it's West Side Story.
That is, okay.
From a musical.
That's nice. But anyway,
yeah.
So that's pretty much...
She bounces.
She bounces, and then Wong pretty much says, hey, welcome.
And he's also
You're an Avenger now.
hey, it's a beacon symbol. Yo.
And they mentioned a beacon. They mentioned
Right.
a beacon that, it's sending something out for somebody to pick up.
Oh,
they don't know
shit. Like some Thanos shit.
Now, the nice thing... No, because, okay, your first thought, obviously, normally is, oh, shit's about to go bad, which it might.
Yeah.
However, it took the rings being fully unlocked by someone who is worthy to start the beacon symbol.
So you think somebody good coming?
Or is alerted. Because you think about it, and his dad wore them for thousands of years using their powers, and the beacon symbol never went off. So it took them being fully unlocked by someone who is worthy for the beacon to start. Now, I'm not saying that the person is good.
Right, gonna come down with good intentions.
But maybe more like ambivalent good, or like put them on Earth as a form of protection in the first place.
Right, like I'm hearing. Right, okay.
So
yeah.
I think she's gonna go bad.
It always does, but
right.
it might not be because of this beacon.
Going to Screen Crush, and again, guys, if you guys don't know who Screen Crush is, Ryan Airy is a fucking genius when it comes to making predictions.
And he puts 50,000 predictions and theories in one.
Well,
Like,
he studies this shit.
Yeah.
He's really good.
He's really good at this. Like, he has the comics, I feel like, fucking memorized page
and then
for page.
he goes and looks up the mythology that has nothing to do with Marvel, but just the mythology used, the techniques. It's really incredible.
So one of the things he brought up, and I feel like I'm going to take it and run with it in a kind of different direction.
Oh, yeah.
One of the things he mentions is he thinks that the bracelets were put there by Celestials.
Right.
They're a celestial weapon.
Right.
That were not found by the person they were supposed to be found by. Being Shang-Chi's dad.
Right.
But they're put there as a protection from something, because they're there to, at least from the way things are saying, the way they impregnate planets is they put a bunch of beings inside the planet. When the egg hatches, they overtake the Earth.
Right.
And then as a counterbalance, because life just happens that way.
Right.
Galactus has been made. This is just based on the comics.
Right.
Galactus is there to basically eat the planets that are overrun with what these Celestials have put on the planets.
Because he sends Silver Surfer down to... Right.
And he feels that the rings were actually made to protect from Galactus.
Right.
Now, the problem, too, though, is no matter which way this goes, it's a bad thing for Earth.
Right.
Exactly.
Because you've got these creatures that are either going to overrun Earth,
or
this dude that's going to come and try and eat it.
And see, it's like we both said shit's about to get bad, but you're thinking like something good. But it could be like that. We're thinking like shit's about to get...
That's why I said it's like an ambivalent good. It's not like... Yeah, it's not like a big bad like Thanos, which is what you said. You said
well, at
Thanos,
first I'm thinking like with Kang though too.
It's not. I don't feel like it's a beacon sending for, something.
Well, I was thinking like what if it's like one of Kang's variants that, because remember, like he said he lived on some plates 1,000 some years too. What if he put that the rings down there for somebody for him to get it? Like one of Kang's little variants like that.
Because Kang wouldn't need it.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe like just
and
keep the time flowing.
Keep in mind that it's still technology that nobody has seen so far.
Not even Kang. You think Kang went out with solid technology like this?
Not right now.
We don't know at this point,
I wouldn't think.
I'm just saying,
If you're just thinking about where they are currently in the timeline, right now Kang would not have seen it. Kang is still working in a lab discovering other Kangs and other universes before they progress into what they become.
Although if you think about it that way, then they could be future technology.
It could be.
Like future technology.
So, now, the Celestial thing I find more believable.
Right.
Because it gives them a chance to bring in other things.
Right.
In terms of overall story.
It's not just Galactus, like bringing other people in also.
Right. So this was something me and Ralph were talking about. Just based off of this one prediction alone that he made. Right. So, we all know that, and by we all, I mean me and him, I don't know how familiar you are with the comics, but Galactus emits cosmic energy.
Right.
It's like the most powerful cosmic energy in the universe. Which means anything that comes near him or comes in contact with him will also have that same cosmic energy trail.
Right.
And we know he likes to send out the Silver Surfer to scout, to try and find planets to eat, so forth and so on. So here's what I'm thinking. I love the idea that this beacon might actually... I don't think it's necessarily reaching out for anyone in particular, except maybe the Celestials, to let them know that it's been found.
And that a Guardian has arisen. Because it's not just that it's been found. Yeah.
Right. But I also think a Silver Surfer is going to pick up on it.
That, man, yeah, they do that, right?
And I think in the process of the Silver Surfer coming to scout the planet, which we probably won't see head on, but they're wanting to bring the Fantastic Four into here. And Galactus is technically a Fantastic Four villain. Right. But they got their powers, at least in the original Marvel arc, by going into space and hitting cosmic rays. Right. So what if the cosmic rays that they hit were caused by the Silver Surfer flying through? Which means Galactus is still on his way.
Not there yet.
Not there yet, but it's going to give time for them to bring in the Fantastic Four, get them built up. They're going to have time to bring in a couple other heroes.
But that's interesting, though. Like, I can see that, like it's like what they did with, like, say, with Thanos, with the Tesseract. It's like slowly progression into Thanos. Like, it's going to slowly progression into Galactus, like, toward the end of everything.
It's kind of the thing, though. Like, they need a way to bring these characters in, and
But that's cool. They go that route, though. That's very tight.
They're actually very good at being sort of sneaky in terms of doing it from the outside.
Right. Like, we start with the stage 1, then by like stage 5,000 we're here.
It's like this minor little thing that you might look past.
Well, a prime example, the Cosmic Cube. We spent the first 3 to 4 movies of the Cosmic Cube being in the MCU, and nobody had any idea it was an Infinity Stone.
Right.
You're just like the Tesseract.
Yeah.
Right.
You're just like this
little
Tesseract
ball thing and this little square thing.
It was the crown jewel of Asgard.
Right.
The Tesseract has all this power and everybody wants it, and then all of a sudden it's like,
He
it has that power because
he crushes it.
It's an Infinity Stone.
Yeah, Ultron, crushes it and he shows the Infinity Stone. Damn.
But yeah, it's a lot of things Marvel tends to do.
Yep.
Right in front of your eyes. That you don't even notice until
you didn't connect,
But if the Eternals movie does hint on something like that, bro, I'm gonna freak the fuck out, bro.
I wouldn't be surprised. I told him I wouldn't be surprised to actually see Shang-Chi show up at some point in Eternals. Maybe not as a major,
but like a
fighting role,
like a minor role in there. You know,
maybe even with him specifically, it might be a post-credit scene where he's talking with the Eternals and finds out that yes, this is celestial tech.
Right.
And it said it got a beacon, like, I don't know, something's coming. They like, oh god,
oh shit, right.
This is crazy, bro.
Okay, so that's my hopeful, bold prediction.
Right.
What are yours, Ralph?
I like I said with the Kang, but I also said like maybe like something. Unfortunately, I'm like with the same thing as you. Like something bad is coming. I wish I could go with you and be like, well, something good might come. I don't know.
No, but what she's saying is never.
Not like something good, like, but you're like. How'd you go about
I think I'll wait. Right. You say your prediction. Right.
Well, like I said, like it could be one of Kang's variants from like the future that probably put that there to basically lead into like this type of timeline to keep it going all the way for the time to be fucked up in the end eventually.
None of that made sense, Ralph. But okay.
Well, kind of, sort of. I understand.
I'm trying to follow along. Hold on. So you think?
It's future tech.
It's future tech placed by Kang.
By future Kang.
By future Kang, yep.
So that the events that are supposed to happen.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
To follow his fucked up idea of the timeline.
Fucked up idea of the timeline.
Okay. I did not say that I think that it's beaconing something good.
Right.
I said that I think maybe the original intent was it is beginning something ambivalent. And that doesn't mean that they care one way or another about the people on Earth, but maybe something that was placed on Earth, like the celestial pods, hatching or whatever. And they were placed there specifically to have a guardian. And maybe they had a guardian who
might have died or taken them off and died. And then his father found them, and his father was able to use them at a low-grade level, but not actually unlock them to become a guardian.
Right.
So now that he has unlocked them, Shang has beaconed whatever this person that wanted a guardian needed a guardian for some reason.
Right.
That there's a new guardian. So...
You have your champion.
So they have their champion.
Right, you have your champion.
Now that does not mean that when whatever is being signaled arrives on Earth, it's a good thing for Earth or Shang or any of the number of things. They could be well intentioned. I don't think they're going to be a Thanos level threat coming in. I definitely think that any of these things lead to big explosions happening, but I don't think they're going to come in threatening to kill off half the Earth like Thanos. I think that it's going to be something sneaky like, Star-Lord's father.
Well, yeah, and the dude from Screwcross, he even said, two of the Celestials have now been really bad now. They've shit.
Now, you remember meeting Star-Lord's father.
Yeah, Ego. Yeah.
Hold on. All right, but yeah, so, sorry, we paused it. I had to pee.
Yeah, he said, hold that thought.
Momentary break.
He said, hold.
So yeah, my prediction is whatever it's beaconing is not necessarily a big bad, but will cause a big bad to happen, because that's just how these stories progress. Right. I also have already given my sort of analysis of what's going to happen with the sister. I don't think she's going to be the villain that their dad was before he met their mother.
Right.
But I do think that she's going to run things like she was running her fight club, which is a rebellious form of basically kind of like an anarchical system. Like, she's got the power in her little province, and now she has more people to do her bidding. But on the other hand, she's kind of that anarchy mindset in terms of nobody else has power over me.
Right, like dad's out of the way, so now I'm about to take over this bitch. This is mine now.
While she
I have secret passwords.
Right.
While she probably could have established a relationship with her aunt and
brother,
the clan, and continued training with them, and actually had training partners on par with her, this, that, and the other. Because she's been alone. No, I don't think it's even she doesn't want. I think it's because she's been a loner and independent so long. She made her own plan.
Right.
And you saw that she had both her dad's right-hand dude and her right-hand dude standing next to her when she was sitting on the chair.
And look, she had buyers too?
So she's combined... Well, her dad had all the financiers and everything of his... That's who she was dealing with.
Okay.
So she's now kind of combined her dad and her side, which... While Shang-Chi combined his dad's, his mom's, and then his life experiences, look at who his best friend is. Look at how he spent his 14 years or whatever.
And she never really had a best friend either, like that.
But look at what he did. He was having a very normal, sub-normal lifestyle of not having responsibilities, of having a best friend who's crazy and fun, and they aren't responsible people. And then he had the whole clan's backing behind him. He took more of his mom into him in not just his fight style, but who he wanted to be as a person. He rejected his father by giving him back the rings.
Right.
I mean, there was all sorts of significance in that. And then his sister didn't reject their father's stuff. She took over the father's stuff. So I really think that it's going to be basically one of those what ifs. Like, he could have gone either way. She could have gone either way. And So I definitely think that that's going to be sort of a...
It's gonna be like yin to her yang, like a yin and yang situation.
Exactly.
Right.
I absolutely did love the throwing away of the rings. Almost.
Yeah, I thought he was almost blasting him. He went, nope.
Almost in a, I don't need this shit to fight.
Right.
Well, he was like, look, you told me that I needed to prove that I was worthy to be the next wearer. I've proved it, and you know what?
I don't need it.
I don't need it.
I thought they were about to fight literally bare. I was ready for that fight.
But I also felt like it was partially like I saw what these rings did to you after Mom's death. You put them on, you never took them off, and look what that led to. And I'm not going to be that person. You also saw that when they were out to dinner in the end credit scene, he wasn't wearing them.
No, he was not.
I do think, also, just as another slight prediction, I do think Shang-Chi and his sister will get into a fight.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because that's most likely going to happen.
I think she's going to try and claim the rings. She's going to be like, I run the 10 Rings organization. Right. You don't even use them. They're mine.
Give me them bitches. I want them. I can't let you have them. They're evil.
I think she's going to take kind of the approach of they were our fathers, and you're not using your inheritance, or you're scared to use your inheritance, whereas I actually have a legitimate... That's the stance kind of thing she'll take. Oh, yeah. I definitely think they'll fight, and I definitely think there'll be plenty of like little squabbles.
Oh yeah, they're gonna square at least like 2 or 3 times.
But I don't think that she's ever gonna drop into a true villain role, and I don't think he's ever going to be like Captain America, true goody two shoes role. So again, I think it's a really good yin yang situation where neither of them are pure good or pure evil.
Right, they're not gonna want to kill each other. No.
Well, yeah, I think that's also another thing is no matter how damaging the fights get, which I agree, I think there's going to be at least one that is, they're serious about the fight. I don't think they're going to want to kill each other.
Right.
I mean,
she just wants the rings, goddammit.
Well, they'll take it as far as they actually, like, she'll probably take it further than him, where I don't care if you can't get up for the next 3 days. But I'm not going to kill you.
Well, she was willing to do that in the underground. Shit.
She just wanted to knock him out.
Right.
Welcome home, baby brother.
Right, with that. She kicked the shit out of him.
Big brother.
Let me show you what I learned when you were gone.
Right. I thought she was like not going to do that. She went, bam. I'm like, okay, she kicked the shot, and he just dropped. No, God.
All right, so for some other predictions, just real quick, wanted to iron these ones out. Uh-huh. So obviously we saw the fight between Wong and
that's the first fight you see.
Abomination.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Which means Abomination's still in the MCU, which we all knew he was. He's been mentioned in like the first season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
A holding cell.
Yeah. And he's been in cryogenically frozen, and then whatever else. And we've definitely seen Bruce as Bruce Banner now instead of in Dr. Hulk or Inspector Hulk or whatever the fuck he goes by.
Right.
Teacher Hulk.
Inspector
Gadget.
No, I think it's Dr. Hulk. Yeah. Because,
but no,
puny humans.
Right. So, we've seen him back as Bruce.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things I definitely love that Screen Crush talked about, so he tied this into what he felt was going to go into She-Hulk.
Right.
Because we also know Abomination and Hulk are going to both be in the She-Hulk TV series.
Right.
And it's like a lawyer type show also.
Right. So. It's going to be
she's super smart.
a crime show.
Right. Crime show.
She's a lawyer.
Right.
And in the comics, she gets her powers by getting a blood transfusion from the Hulk.
Right.
Or Bruce Banner, not the Hulk himself.
From Bruce Banner.
Which is what gives her powers.
Right. And they think it's safe because he shouldn't have gamma radiation in Bruce Banner's blood.
Right. So one of the things that again Ryan Airy said that I actually can totally see going this way is he said that chances are he's no longer Inspector Hulk anymore, or Dr. Hulk or whatever the fuck his Hulk name is.
Right, Doctor.
He's back to being Bruce Banner.
Right.
Probably because there's no more need for the Hulk.
Yeah.
What the hell was that?
I have no idea.
I don't know what that was.
That sounded like a growl.
I thought Ralph's stomach was growling.
Mm-mm.
If it's not, then I'm worried.
I don't know what that was, yo.
Anyways, so...
something's coming! Oh, I'm just kidding. No. The alien moved like...
We're legit haunted at this point.
Right.
Like, here we go. Oh, my God. Oh, what the fuck is that?
We're not sure what the fuck that is.
It's the face hugger alien, bitch. That's what it is. The face hugger.
Anyways,
put that on.
So I like his thought that he's back to being Bruce Banner. Chances are Bruce probably doesn't think he has the Hulk in him anymore, because he said since he did the snap to bring everyone back.
Right.
He feels like it maybe it pulled all the radiation out of him.
Yeah.
Which in time turned him back into just being Bruce Banner.
Right.
So we're probably still going to see his niece get hurt.
That'd be interesting.
And I also feel like she's also going to be. I like the idea of her actually being Blonsky's lawyer.
Yeah.
Right.
During all of this to try and get him off. That way Thunderbolt Ross can use him as one of the Thunderbolts.
Right.
Okay.
Because he's trying to make his own, his own group now.
Him and Viper, as I'm going to call her, are working on getting their little group together.
Right, because she got her little Dark Avengers. He's trying to do shit with his shit right now. So yeah.
I actually think they're one and the same.
Oh, okay.
That's how they're going to do this.
Okay.
Because you don't want to jump into having too many different groups.
Right.
Because then you got to worry about how you're going to get all these movies and TV shows out there.
Fuck it. It's Marvel. Let's roll with it.
I think they'll be the same.
Hey, right. They're going to roll 100. We're going to make like 50,000 movies and TV shows.
So,
billions of dollars.
The way I see it going is...
it also gets too confusing.
Right. I love this idea of like, she's still going to get hurt during all this. He's going to think everything is perfectly fine with him now.
He can give a blood transfusion.
So he can give the blood transfusion, but it backfires.
Right.
And turns her into She-Hulk.
Am I getting tall and green?
And then, the series evolves into whatever the fuck it evolves into.
Right, whatever turns through after that.
I'm hoping it's her versus Abomination. I think that'd be a fun little fight to watch.
Right.
And he gets clapped again!
I also think that we're going to see a lot more of Shang-Chi.
In everything.
Yeah.
Because of the whole Wu combination, bringing him in with Bruce Banner, Captain Marvel.
And I could definitely see them using him more prominently than a lot of other people that are going to be around.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Because this almost does have that Iron Man 1 feel, that he's the start of
that's literally what I feel like.
A new super group.
Right.
Well, and also, again, you think about his lifestyle, right? Mm-hmm. His best friend has a PhD and everything, so obviously, he speaks 4 languages, they're very, very smart people.
They're smart people. Right.
They're also reluctant to have responsibilities, which is it's an Americanized thing, which was so fitting for first gen Asian Americans. They played it off perfectly, and with their parents' reaction
being
to
tiger
it
parents,
as well,
as they're called.
Yeah.
But you think about that, and then you think about the lifestyles of everybody else, like Tony Stark, how his lifestyle was.
Right.
Dr. Banner is actually a doctor. Everybody else, even Doctor Strange.
Right.
He's, saving everybody from cosmic forces, and they all have very serious lives and jobs to run. Right. So if you think about the use of Spider-Man or Ant-Man or any of that stuff in some of the Avengers, where they're like, shoot, we need somebody else, who can we call?
Ghostbusters.
Exactly.
Who you gonna call?
But these are people that they know are going to be free to help and have the powers to do so.
Right, because now the Avengers they're dismantled right now. So.
But what I'm saying is because Shang-Chi and Katie aren't living a life where if somebody is needed, they're going to be busy supposedly. Like everyone's going to know that they might be valet parking cars, or out to dinner with their friends, or singing karaoke. So they'll call on them. Right. So I do think that their characters are going to be used.
We need you. All right, I gotta go.
Yeah, no, it's one of those.
Yeah,
literally. Like interrupting a lecture, interrupting.
I hope it's Shang-Chi more than his friend.
I think that she is gonna go.
She's gonna go where he
everywhere.
Don't torture me with that.
You don't want to see that shit.
She's the claptrap of this whole movie, dude. She's like the annoying sidekick.
Look, yes and no. She facilitates between showing the really smart person that from them saying has a PhD to the
funny one.
Honestly, I think it was just her mentality I would not get along with. Because she's very bubbly.
See, and I think that's the thing, is it's not so much like her acting was great. I think her character was actually great.
Yeah,
she was actually a very good balance to who Shang-Chi would have been Shang-Chi would have been when she met him. Because my guess is he would have been scared, very serious, very, like, he had been raised in this militant lifestyle. So her bubbliness, her lack of responsibility.
Like, I didn't find her annoying at all.
Yeah, you wouldn't. Her wanting to go out and drink and karaoke instead of, resting to go to her job on time. All of that stuff would have brought him out of his shell, and also his guilt and the depression from, because if you think about it, his dad never let them really grieve their mom's passing either, or the guilt that he would have felt. So he would have still had that when he met Katie. So I think that she's a very good counterpart to him. That type of person.
This guy right here
would not get along either. I'm way too introverted and like, no, bitch, I'm going home. I'm going to sleep.
I think the only
you don't do no karaoke.
It's not that I have anything against drinking and karaoke. It's like, we have just done this and we have to go to work at this time.
Right. No. We gotta go to work. It's like she said, or
bed is calling.
It's like,
I think the reason that Ralph and I get along so well is because I've learned to just walk away.
Yeah, that's it.
He will be mid-conversation, and I will turn
and walk away, and I'm like, good talk, bro. Like, good talk, pound it.
I mean, like, but which conversation...
Any.
No, I'm just saying, which conversation in the conversation was that? Did you make it through the first conversation, and then he started the fifth, and then you were like, I'm out?
No, so I have this inner gate, right? As long as we're focused on the subject matter that I approach with, I will stick around and talk for a minute.
Until Jeremy comes
But the moment anyone, whether it's Ralph, whether it's Jeremy, or it's Christy, the moment anyone changes the subject,
and I see it.
The gates open, and I go, at any moment, I will walk away when I'm done talking. And as soon as I get to that point, which usually doesn't take long.
Nope, it takes like a couple of seconds.
But see, that's what I was saying by which conversation.
I will not stick around and talk about shit I don't care about.
Right, that's why I'm going back to my cave.
Which conversation are we talking about? Because Ralph is one run-on conversation.
Mm-hmm. No, me and Ralph, as long as it's just me and him,
he can focus.
We can actually have a really good conversation.
He can focus.
I try. At least try. I give you at least.
Now
50%.
I will still get to the point where I will look and be like, all right, I'm going back to my
house. And I'll walk away.
It's quiet time.
I got used to it.
It's quiet time.
Right, I got used to it right there.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's just once you start throwing other variables in,
he gets distracted.
Right.
They get distracted. You get distracted. It's time to.
And the moment the distraction kicks in, I'm usually like, and I'm
go.
But it's funny though. When I first met him though, I was like, man, this guy's an asshole. He up here leaving mid conversation, that whore. And then I'm like, okay, I just got used to it.
Honestly,
I really just got used to it, to be honest.
My limit is actually way lower than Nick's.
Oh, I believe it.
And so I got that a lot. And I don't think there's been very few people I've walked away from.
Mm-hmm.
But I do know, especially because my friends have mentioned it, you can see that gate shut on my face.
Oops.
And it's just a like self-save mode, honestly, is what it is. It's like I am at that moment like just overwhelmed with the amount of volume or distractions or whatever, and it's just I close down. But that's part of being extremely introverted.
Right. Unfortunately, I'm the exact opposite. Well, you can tell.
Which
that's my own personality. I talk too much. That's a positive and negative. So I can't.
Oh, bro, you don't talk too much.
You talk just as much.
We've met people that talk more than you know.
Well, Jeremy.
But you talk just as much as an extrovert should, or could, or.
So coming back to Shang-Chi.
That's how we. That's
it.
That's
kind
how,
of was
because
it was the tangent about Katie,
and this is why I fucks with him, because that's funny. We just go back to it.
And we now come down to this.
Yep.
We're gonna start with you, our guest of honor.
Right, because you're here. Hello.
Right.
My baby. Out of 10, what do you give Shang-Chi?
Okay. So, again,
mm-hmm.
because I know nothing about Shang-Chi based on comics, I am not grading this on any changes that may or may not have been made. I didn't even know that they were supposed to be rings versus bracelets.
Right.
So on and so forth. As a whole just everything we've spoken about type of movie.
Right.
Also, not one that I felt ambivalent about from the start. Like, I felt no way about going into seeing this movie. You said no emotion from it, right? Well, yeah, none. I felt no kind of way going to this movie other than Marvel normally puts on a good movie. Right. I still give this one a 9.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Ralphus?
I'm giving it a 9 too.
You're giving it a 9?
Yeah. You? You're going to be the one that's going to drop that bitch to an 8. Look at you.
All right.
All right. That's fine. No, that's fine. You can do that. Do that, man.
So here's the thing. I, in much of the same way as her, went into this with no expectations. Different reasons. I did know a little of the backstory going into this. And some things I 100% understand why they had to change, like Fu Manchu no longer being around as a available Marvel character. Right. And I obviously knew about they were supposed to be rings instead of bracelets. Right. And things like that. Now, one of the... again, going into it with absolutely no expectations. It being bottom rung... Didn't really, like, it was the one movie, aside from Black Widow, I cared the least about this year. Right. In terms of progressing the MCU. Again, 100% completely surprised by how well the story was written. Right. I loved all the action pieces in it. I thought they were done very well. I'm glad they didn't go full-on entire action movie. Right. As they could have gone.
Yeah, they could have went that route, man.
So I felt like it had good pacing, good balance. Balance. Amongst all that, I thought the acting was fantastic. Even with old girl being annoying as fuck to me, she did her part very well.
Yep. I love how the sister looks at her too. Like,
she's like, "I like your pants." I'm like, "Oh."
She's just like, "What are you
eating?" And I definitely feel like they're building up for bigger things. Right. I'm actually giving it a 10.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Awesome.
I said this on Twitter several times in people's conversations. I've said this to her. I've said it to you. I think this is the best solo superhero MCU movie so far. Right. I think it's better than Iron Man. I think it's better than Thor. I think it's better than Doctor Strange. I think it's better than Spider-Man. Yeah. Yep. I think it's got everything. It's got action. It's got heartfelt moments. It's got great CGI that doesn't look trashy,
crappy.
Right.
It's great writing. Right. Everything. It's got everything.
Right. Okay. All right.
You gave it 10. Holy shit. Cool.
Unfortunately, due to the 2 9s, that will actually drop it down to an A rank, so it's ranked right up there with Black Widow.
Fuck!
I mean, like, had...
Although I'm going to move it up here past Black Widow.
Yeah.
At least move it past Black Widow.
Okay, because I definitely agree with that. I think it was way better than Black Widow.
As a matter of fact...
That story meant nothing.
No, we're going to leave it there. We gave it a 9
right.
when we first reviewed it.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I think Black Widow in itself is an outstanding movie.
Outstanding movie.
It was very well done.
Right. Doesn't mean nothing to the story.
It just was a prequel.
Right.
Was part of the problem.
Right.
Yeah, there was just... I don't know. There was just a hair lacking, I want to feel.
Got the light on.
What did I turn the light on?
To look at the microphone back. There was just, I don't know, maybe just a little something missing for me to give it a 10 out of 10. And I don't even know that I can put my finger exactly on what it was. Because I agree with you. They did everything outstanding. Like, all of the characters were so believable with the actors and actresses they picked. Everything was... But there was just...
something.
And it could have been, like, I have stated Doctor Strange is my favorite single. And I would put Doctor Strange up there with this movie. I wouldn't rank either above or below the other. Right. But I think Doctor Strange may have had humor that was more based towards what I find is funny. Because he is such a know-it-all. Like, so it's a lot more...
He has that British dry humor.
Exactly. Yeah. And so I find that incredibly funny. But this was a little bit more... in the moment, some dumb slapstick humor, some, Trevor was comic relief as well.
Oh yeah, he was pure comedy.
And I think that was another reason why I did love this movie so much. I don't think they tried to ever be funny.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. It was in the moment. It wasn't.
There might have been a moment here and there where a joke was made or somebody said something that came off as funny, but they did take it as a more serious MCU movie,
right?
As opposed to trying to force.
It was just their personalities. Like Katie, being the extrovert she is going to say stuff like, "Hey, I think we made a good team."
Right.
Like, she's
or
like,
you tell me on the plane. Tell me on the plane right now.
But on the flip side, I think that might be what causes me to not give it a 10, which again isn't any fault of the movie. It's just personal preference.
Right.
A fantastic movie though, like absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna buy that bitch when it come out.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. I still have to buy Black Widow. I'll buy them all.
Well,
yeah. But that one was absolutely one that I would spend my money on.
And rewatch again. Yeah. That's like up there with Suicide Squad.
No. Applications.
Why are we friends with him?
I knew that was coming too. Because I mean,
honestly, the only starfish I have ever cared about is the chocolate starfish and the hot dog flavored water.
Fantastic album.
Oh no! Why are we friends with him?
I don't expect him to know Limp Bizkit.
He's too young.
Yeah,
I don't expect him to know Limp Bizkit. Although, fun fact, chocolate starfish and the hot dog flavored water
it's just like you're grounded.
is actually a sexual reference to anal sex.
Yeah,
oh,
but
okay.
I feel like maybe he should just be like on timeout.
This time, like the Incredibles.
Should we take his
You're
grandfathers
grounded.
away?
I don't know. Now, I do want to give everybody that is looking at this screen a heads up. So once things are added to this list, I cannot take them off. The reason I bring this up is because a few of these movies, which you're going to see, Venom Maximum Carnage says that is scheduled for 2021 and has been pushed back to January of 2022.
Yep.
I'm not going to change that. So whenever we do get to those movies and rate them,
we'll get to them.
People are going to be confused.
Yeah.
They'd already been added. I'm not changing it.
All right.
I will just from now on wait until a movie is about to release to add a new one.
Just because
when I
first moved around.
When I first made this, I tried to get every movie that was going to be out within that was confirmed within a 2-year period of me making the thing.
Right. Well, because you got to put all the logo and
it backfired.
Yeah.
Right. That takes
But it is
Shit
what
happens.
it is. Yeah.
But yeah. So as it stands, we still got Shang-Chi, Black Widow, and Guardians of the Galaxy at A, The Simpsons Special at a C, Incredible Hulk Returns at a D, and Punisher Warzone at an F, rightfully where it belongs.
Right.
Really? The Simpsons got a C?
It did.
Yeah.
For all of 5 seconds?
Because of him.
Boy, how you... I like how he point, but the first thing she didn't look at your ass. So Ralph, how'd you give this a C, motherfucker? And
I gave it if I remember correctly, I gave it like a 4.
I gave it a.
He gave it a 5. But when you add the 2 and do it, it comes out to a 4.5, rounded up to his 5.
So Ralph is the reason. I found it a little bit enjoyable. I found it because there
was 5 seconds.
Tom Hiddleston was okay. He was okay. I think that's probably one of my. I think I'm gonna talk about that. Yeah, Tom Hiddleston was okay.
They played it up like it was gonna be an episode.
Oh,
and then it was like not even an intro.
Because we were gonna do a podcast over that, and it's like 5 minutes. That's it. All right, moving on to the next shit.
That is an F from me. That is called a failed concept.
Very much so.
Could have had a good thing going here.
No, could have. No, yeah. They could have kept going. That's why we would have got higher rank, but they said, nope, 5 minutes. All right. 5 minutes, guys.
All right. Still got to see. All right. Well, it is what it is, and,
I was hoping Shang-Chi was going to be a 10. Damn you guys.
That's what he's waiting for.
He told me it was a 10 out of 10 right when he got...
Well, that's because I was coming off that hype shit. I was on gummy bears.
I was like, all right, we're getting our first 10 rank, because even if she'd have said 9, that still would have averaged out enough to be a 10.
Honestly, I feel like they did... And, okay, here's another thing, and this is not taking anything away from the film. It's just another personal desire. Again, with that beauty in terms of the martial arts that the clan all did.
Right.
I wish there had been more of it. And I think the only way they legit could have added more in without distracting too much from the storyline is extend a little bit with the training. Like, instead of it being the next dawn that their dad is going to be able to get in, make it like a week out or something like that, and maybe have had a small training montage. Now, again, I'm not saying like they had to do this because I thought the film was fabulous as it was.
Right.
But just in order to see like
Progression.
Shang actually become way more confident and remember a whole bunch more that his mom had instilled in him, but also for his sister, because you know you have the scene where she's told they're not left out. She goes, she does her thing, but to have her added back in to some of the training where she's actually involved in the training with other people, Katie, you know, maybe make her absolutely fumble a whole bunch of other different styles, and then legit be
just
good
naturally
with the bow.
good bow.
Right.
That's the only way that I could see adding in more of that style. And again, I think they would have considered it an additive at the length that the movie already was, and it wasn't strictly necessary. I just would, and I also think it would have furthered the development of brother-sister combo just a little bit further. But you know, maybe make Trevor try something, and then
I wouldn't mind seeing that. Seeing Trevor do some shit.
He's relegated to like, I don't know, choosing outfits for people, or you know, something that like a drama.
I think they did a great job. He played dead.
I know, but I'm saying like they try and make him do something in order to help, and it turns out that really all he's good with is like coordinating their outfits or something, you know, and his little buddy is helping him by tripping him or something the whole time.
Like he gets and he falls down. Oh shit!
Again, it would have added another, you know, 10-15 minutes onto an already long film, so it's not necessary. But I'm just saying that I think it would have.
Shit, it didn't feel like it was long. Damn.
Other than my bladder, it did not feel like it was long.
That's why he got to go pee.
I've never had to do that before. I have never once gone to the movies.
He said, I gotta go.
Now, I, on the other hand, have never not had to get up in the middle of a movie.
However,
and here's the problem.
I don't drink soda.
I went to the bathroom before the movie started.
At the theater.
But then you end up sitting in there. We waited, I think it was almost 15 minutes before the previews even actually started.
Right. That's why I don't
and then
drink
it's
my
another
shit till, like,
20 minutes
behind.
of previews. And already that's 45 minutes into after I'd last peed.
Right.
And yeah, it just does not work out for me.
That's why I don't drink my shit till after the movie's like
it wouldn't have
halfway
mattered.
through.
It wouldn't have mattered on waiting time. I honestly, I'm one of those people, I need to pee like right before the movie starts.
Right.
Or...
And I mean, for me, I don't order soda when I go, so I don't normally have an issue.
Right.
But we waited for a while, and you know, it struck me, and I was like, you know, I'm not going to be able to last out this movie like I normally am able to. I was like, this sucks.
Right. Gotta find a
nice
nice bathroom.
So the next time we'll see HellCat will actually probably be the Eternals review.
Yeah.
December.
That's November.
So you guys gonna be paying for that too? Pay go to the movie theater for that also?
We will if we have to.
Cause
if they put it on
Disney,
if they put it on Disney Plus, I'll watch it on Disney Plus.
Right.
Because to be honest, as good as Shang-Chi was, I don't feel like watching it at home would have ruined any experience for me.
Okay. We have a big enough TV, and without them using the effects of the Dolby and
was
everything...
I am truly sorry that happened, because when I saw Fast and 9, they use that Dolby effect like constantly, and that really is irritating.
I mean, like, it's a huge screen and all, but we've got relatively large screen TVs.
Oh, yeah.
So, again, it's not...
Right.
Plus, the pause button is nice if he's got to get up.
Right, but...
Right.
All right, pause. Did I miss anything? Nope, play.
Exactly. And on Disney Plus, I will say this, we can rewatch it. So when you're doing reviews like this, there's none of the, well, I thought he was just doing a slow fall type thing versus us thinking he was actually levitating.
Right.
Because we've normally watched it
because now you have to rewatch
twice.
Right when it comes out.
Right.
Yeah.
This is literally the first thing we've done that I haven't watched twice.
Exactly. So, I mean, there are obviously pluses and minuses for both types.
No, Mortal Kombat. I didn't watch it twice when we did our review.
I had watched it several times by the time.
About 2 times for me. Right.
I had watched it more than twice.
Yeah, she
mostly for that first prequel.
I was gonna say I could watch the first 20 minutes over and over again.
Yeah,
right.
That first prequel was
But yeah, so she'll be back, like I said, probably for the Eternals reaction. I actually like now the idea that Marvel puts out like a movie every couple of months because we get a date night. which was
right. They said date night. I said, there you go. Take her on another one.
This was our first ever date night. It was great.
Good job. Hey.
Yeah, we've been together.
It's weird.
Almost
Most
2
people are like,
years.
don't people usually date before they get together, and then shit happens.
Well, I mean, yeah, but you think about actual date night in terms of
Going out,
doing something, and dinner or whatever, and we have not.
No, we've had COVID. Floating around saying hi to people.
Right. That's why shit's getting pushed back and closed again. So.
Yeah, well.
Maybe if we're lucky, the theater fucking scene will die.
You know,
the cost for tickets is
stupid.
No, stupid. Hey, he came to me. He said, "Ralph," I said, "What happened?" I had to pay for money for the ticket. I'm like, yeah, you gotta pay for the ticket.
It's not paying for the ticket.
Or you're paying a lot for it. Yeah,
it's paying.
I don't think any movie ever has ever been worth $16 to see in theater. Okay,
right?
Ever
Per person.
Per person.
Yeah.
I get.
Ralph's like, I do it all the time.
I didn't want to say nothing.
Ralph's a theater whore.
I am a
Do
theater whore.
understand the Disney Plus charge again, because a lot of people are paying once, and it's like 8 people come and see it, and they watch it multiple times.
I spent more money on 2 tickets than I did renting Black Widow's Premiere Access.
Yeah.
Plus, we
$6 more
got drinks and stuff here. We got a bathroom here. We got a pause button here.
I can smoke during the movie.
So go back to it. We got pause, but we got pause.
We can smoke. We can invite people over to the house. I mean, like, there's a lot of benefits to the Plus scene.
Just include it in box office prices.
Right.
Not hard to do. Right. All right, so.
But I'm gonna keep going to the movies though.
That's fine. Go ahead.
Fine. You do you, boo.
He's gonna say some shit to me like that.
No, I'm all for it. If people want to go to theaters to watch movies, go to theaters to watch movies. I mean, I hope eventually your dream dies because.
Oh, that would be so fucked up.
It's honestly just the
door
price.
locked?
It's just the price point that they're charging. It's
not.
ridiculous.
It's not right.
Right. Yeah.
No wonder your movies are out here making billions of dollars. You're charging people $30 to go fucking on a date.
Right.
It's stupid.
Now, if you want to take your kids out and do something nice, it completely mitigates the ability to be able to do that for most.
Yeah, I will
households.
never be able to take my kids to see a movie.
So that's ridiculous, because I loved it when my mom took us to see movies. That was one of my favorite things, and she loved it because, that's 2 hours that she's not having to entertain us. But I don't know, it was like $5,
$6 a ticket.
Because we got, the kid discount, whatever, but it's like, we couldn't ever take the kids that would cost us $100 just to pay for our 4 tickets and drinks and,
Like, I think what I spent was like $25.
That's just for yourself?
No, that was I go to the home theater here in Brownsburg. That's where I went to. So it didn't cost that much money. It was only about just like say $10 a piece.
Yeah, but
it all depends on which movie theater you're going to, also. So.
Yeah, but at $16 a piece, why aren't they using the Dolby?
And that's what I said. I'm not saying.
Or at least give me some 3D glasses, damn it.
I would have been complaining to the people bro, or to the manager staff, how come I'm paying you this amount of money, and my heart has not stopped. My heart should be freezing up on me.
It's just one of those things that, again, it's an industry that they're taking advantage of.
Right.
And I don't think that they should be allowed to take advantage of it to the extremes that they are, and then also include box office pull-in as part of their win-lose ratio for movies and actresses and stuff like that, when it's
Right.
Right. So, yeah.
So, anyways, it was a good movie. Go watch it.
Definitely.
So, with that being said,
I'll be back.
We'll see her soon.
Back in a month,
barring us being homeless.
You'll see them sooner.
Well,
yes.
You'll see us. You'll see us in a day or two.
Yeah.
But yeah, next episode of the podcast that will be coming out will be dropping Monday, because I believe I'm going to just push this one out.
Okay.
The next podcast will be dropping Monday. That will be covering the new What If episode. What if Doctor Strange lost his heart instead of his hands? And then the next podcast after that will be the next Comic Corner. That's Thursday. So there's the plugs on those.
Right.
I'm gonna keep this face. I'm half sleepy. So
with that being said, we love you guys,
and
we cannot wait to see you all crazy people later.
Yeah.
Excelsior!
Excelsior! Dab. There you go.
Cash just like, bye people.